Hey, welcome back to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment down below. Let me know who you rocking with, where y'all from. If you rocking with Young Dolph, Big Scar, Gucci Man. So let's get right into it, man. So Gucci Man pulls up to Memphis. He's showing love, showing support for Big Scar, trying to make sure everybody all right, trying to make sure, if you got to break bread on some ends to make sure everybody gets taken care of when it comes to them, trying to celebrate and make sure everything is like done for Big Scar the correct way and all that. And so he pulled up there. He spoke with many different people in Memphis because, Gucci really is from Atlanta and all that area. And so he actually, is Memphis and Atlanta still got a little connection. So he went all the way up there. And he even pulled up just to make sure to see if Yo Gotti, Moneybag Yo, and all of them was still around and all that. And so basically, you got to understand that he still has that whole situation with Big 30. So that whole thing, I think they got rid of that. And so he pulled up, talked to Big 30, talked to Moneybag Yo, and tried to figure out what they could do. We don't know if Yo Gotti and Black Youngster and all of them would try to do the same thing. That's unsure of because they haven't, the people in Memphis ain't said nothing like they ain't seen him or anything like that. Nobody has seen Yo Gotti and them. They haven't seen Black Youngster in a while. And so, because everybody's been looking out like, where's all the stars? They used to drive around and everything like that, like in the Bentley and all that. And so Gucci Man pulled up. He was riding around in the Lambo and the Rolls Royce. He pulled up in that white one. And that's when he was trying to pull up to this like that same block, and make sure the family's straight because everybody is still like fresh to them, and it's bad timing this time of year for this stuff to go down. You got to understand that it's already too much that they dealing with in Memphis, and so it's shout out to everybody from there. And they already had that Dolph situation that happened, and so basically with this is like the whole thing with having happened to Dolph and then Big Scar. That's like two big things in Memphis. And so you still got people who like now all those artists, they moving out of Memphis. Like everybody, like Moneybag Yo moved last year. Key Glock moved last year. So all of them, like Big Moochie Grape, moved to Miami. And so you got to understand that everybody got out of Memphis, and if they could, and even Glorilla moved to London after she switched sides from PRE to CMG. And so all of the CMG people, they're not even staying around Memphis no more. Like the only thing that's really there is, I think, Yo Gotti's mom restaurant or something like that. And like we don't even know if people even be going there or like what's going on. And basically due to that, it's like they're missing all the people that used to be hanging around in Memphis and all that. And so there's really nobody that's there for them to look up to. So like people got to step up and make sure, they showing like how it's done. They got to go out there, support for Dolph, go out there, support for Big Scar so that they can show the youngins how you do it and how you're supposed to get it right and all that stuff. Instead of like what's been going on the last 2 years was like a lot of people beefing and the Memphis beef. Everybody knows by now, if you didn't know about like a lot of stuff that's been going on in Memphis for a while, has been going on so long, and that people had to draw and connect the dots to what really happened in the last 2 years to what was happening like 10 years ago. And the fact that it's new people coming up in Memphis now, it's new things going on. Like you got Lil Migo and Grove Hero and all that. And so the whole thing with that is that, Grove Hero was really the one who was riding for Dolph. So like it's crazy out of all the people that was there, like Key Glock, Big Moochie Grape, Snoop Bands and all of them, like they didn't answer Dolph's call, but Grove Hero, the one, actually went out there and literally found Lil Migo and showed him and everything, gave him a piece of his mind and all that, and hit him with the 2-piece with the side of biscuits and a drink. And that's what happened just like 2-3 weeks ago, and everything went crazy. And that's when everybody started like paying back attention to all of this. And so what you got to understand is that it's still been things going on like behind closed doors, and it's just quiet now, but it's like a quiet little like battle that they've been having and all that. And that's why, like I said, a lot of CMG people were hiding. You saw how a dude pulled up. Lil Migo had a whole entire disguise on, and Grove Hero still found him, which was the craziest thing because a lot of people were saying, like, why was Lil Migo hiding like that? Like, Grove Hero didn't have to hide his face. None of Young Dolph's people or none of the people from Memphis that's rocking with them, PRE and all that, was having to hide their face or anything like that. Like, they was moving around like however, right? But then you see all the CMG people like Black Youngster and Lil Migo and all of them, they had to basically like go below the radar and put on the different disguises and basically change into different personas and all of that to get around and make sure nobody caught them and seen them from Memphis, because it's a small town. So whenever they were hopping out to go to like Atlanta or whatever like that, then basically that's when Growth Hero was seeing him, and that's when he pulled up on him and was like, "Yo, that's Lil Migo right there," and he caught him lacking basically at that time, and then everybody knows what happened from there on. So, but basically, like, why? How come? Like, nope. That was basically the only thing that had happened where people were actually trying to like confront somebody about the whole thing with Young Dolph, which is crazy because he even said himself it was because Big Jook and Yo Gotti's brother were the ones that put like some money on his head or whatever like that. And so that whole thing is coming out of his mouth. And basically, a lot of people are like talking about that back up again, basically saying that, oh, this whole Dolph thing was really like, like they was onto something when they were saying maybe it was CMG or maybe it was this, maybe it was that. But like a lot of people didn't know that they already had like an existing situation where this could have been in the mix. And so if you didn't know that, and so you had to pay attention and look behind like everything that's really going on and see that, yeah, there was actually some things that was happening. And so that's what everybody was talking about. Now, and the other thing was that the whole thing with Big Scar didn't have like nothing to do with Yo Gotti or CMG or anything like that, but it was the fact that there was whether he was with CMG, whether he was PRE or Young Dolph or whatever, whoever signed him, whether it was Gucci Mane, he still had the same habits and activities that they be doing, hanging out in the parking lot and getting lit. And so that's the thing that is not going to change unless somebody was to step up and tell him. But like Gucci Mane couldn't have all of his artists hanging out with him. He couldn't just keep him in his mansion and just have him with them babysitting him. Like that's not how it works. So at the end of the day, it's like they grown men and adults, so they had to all make their own decisions. And so if they decide to like stand out in the parking lot and do this and do that and whatever, it's like that's on them basically. But the people that surround them also got to let them know like, hey, it take a village to raise somebody. And so at 22, they still super young, super like youth and all that stuff. So what you got to understand is that the fact that Gucci couldn't have his artist right next to him, otherwise he would and be taking care of him. Like the same situation with Pooh Shiesty, like that's on Pooh Shiesty and them for pulling up like that and being caught in 4K doing all that stuff out of the green McLaren, like with everything with the chopper and all that. So basically, when they go and do something, that's on them. But like he tried to let him know, like, here's the bread. They signed him and did that, gave him all the bread, and they should have just been chilling out, trying to make the albums and all that, right, in the studio, going crazy. But basically, they was out there in the field, and the activities that they was doing, boom, boom, you get the repercussions of that, and so you get in what you put out. So whatever happened was like basically out of their control. And so Gucci couldn't just be having him right there next to him the whole entire time. That would have been too like unrealistic. And so he got his own places to go and do this and do that. And at the end of the day, man, it's crazy. It's a sad situation. They could have like stopped it or did this or that, but nobody knew that this was going to happen. And basically it's condolences to Big Scar, condolences to Dolph and all that. And shout out to Memphis, and basically subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment down below, and I'm going to catch you on the next one.